G'day guys, it's Tim Guest here, Australia's leading financial educator and managing director of Infinite Wealth. Whether it's your first time watching us or you're a long time follower, welcome along to the video. Today we're here to talk about Australia's population hitting 25 million people today. It's a big one, but before I get stuck into that, just a couple of quick ones. We love to get your interaction, so comments, questions, please post them down below so I can get back to you. Love, likes, angries, and of course all we ask in return is that you share these videos so that it keeps me inspired to do these videos, and of course we can continue to build a bigger audience. But like I said, today what we want to talk about is Australia's population. So massive one, hitting 25 million people, big milestone for Australia. In fact, if we look back in the year 2000, we're at about 18, 19 million people. Currently, we're the fastest growing nation in the Western developed world, and this is a significant fact when it comes to Australia and its impact on investment. Population growth is the number one factor that pushes property prices, and primarily not only because of the demand side of things, but also because population growth normally stimulates economic activity, and economic growth is also the second thing that runs in line with property growth as well. So major thing here, but what I want to really dig down into a little bit more is where we're going to be seeing this population growing around the country. So that the three fastest growing cities over the next 40 years as projected by the ABS are going to be Melbourne, Brisbane and Perth. So a couple of things about this. So it's predicted that by 2032 Melbourne is going to overtake Sydney as the population leader in Australia. That is a really great sign for Melbourne, and of course its long-term future in terms of property growth. Brisbane is also it's going to be the second fastest. So I'm not saying that Melbourne's the first. In fact, Melbourne is the third fastest growing city over the next forward. Second is Brisbane, so obviously we're seeing a lot of really strong performance out of Brizzy at the moment. But what might surprise a lot of people is, in fact, Perth is going to be the fastest growing capital city in Australia over the next 40 years. Perth is going to more than double in size. It's actually going to overtake Brisbane and become the third largest city in the country. So now the reason, as a company, while we make recommendations to our clients all over the country in terms of where they should be investing, primarily most of our recommendations are within Perth, Brisbane and Melbourne, primarily for these facts: the population growth over the next 40 years, and of course, once again, we recommend passive investment strategies, which is essentially a buy and hold investment strategy. There's been Nobel Prize winners in economics that have won those prizes in terms of proving that the passive investment strategies are far greater than active investment strategies. Now, of course, you'll never hear this from the industry. The industry always wants to tell you that you should be buying and flipping, and I'm not just talking about property, I'm talking about shares as well, or buying and selling. But primarily that's because the industry makes all their money when you buy and sell. You can make larger short-term gains in terms of active investing strategies. However, because of the costs involved in those short-term strategies, the net gains don't anywhere near compete with the long-term strategies. And in fact, I always take my advice from people who are where I'd want to be. Warren Buffett, man, he says that when you're investing, you should be investing as if the moment that you buy, the market closes down for 10 years. So you buy something and basically you're going to sit on it for a minimum of 10 years, okay? So like I said, guys, real big significant milestone for us today. 25 million people. You've got to know where that population growth is coming. Perth is going to be number one. Brisbane is number two. Melbourne is number three. If you're looking at investing, you should be looking to spread your risk by diversifying over those three capital cities, and then we can actually break it down into the more specific property cycles in those capital cities depending on where and when you should be buying. But look, just a quick video from me today, guys. Hope everyone has a fantastic week. I'm going to whack out another video maybe later on this week. Got a couple of questions from our finance videos last week, so we'll answer some of those questions later on in the week. But apart from that, have a great day, guys, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Ciao.